morning.
Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Crispin, how are you?
Very well. How are you doing?
You look very well dressed.
Thank you.
Is this a formal occasion for you?
No,
I feel underdressed.
No, I always, when I'm making public appearances, I always dress in a suit and tie.
Go to the tees with it?
Yeah.
Dress up to the tees?
Yes.
I want to ask you, where does the name Crispin come from?
My parents. I was born in New York, and my father is an actor, and my mother was retired as a dancer and actress, primarily a dancer when I was born. But there was an off-Broadway production of Henry V that was going on not too long before I was born, and there's a famous speech in Henry V about St. Crispin's Day, and my parents liked the production, and they liked the name, and
Wow.
I ended up getting the name.
So you were born to do art. Even from the name, is that right?
Well, my parents definitely gave me a good name. My whole name is Crispin Glover, and Hellion comes from my father as an actor. His middle name was his birth middle name was Herbert, but as a struggling actor in New York, he would say to himself, "I'm Bruce H. Glover. I'm Bruce Hellion Glover. I'm a Hellion, a troublemaker," and it would make him feel good as a struggling actor in New York. But and he told my mother that was his real middle name, and then she saw when on the marriage certificate that his real middle name was Herbert, and thought, "Who am I marrying here?" But my parents gave it to me as my real middle name, so it's definitely a good name. But I wouldn't have had to have been involved in the arts. That's not something my parents would have made mandatory by any means, but it was something I decided would be a good thing to pursue at a relatively young age. It was something starting when I was about 11. I thought this would be a good thing for me to do, and then when I was 13, I got an agent. But it was something that I had decided to do. I think often kids are pushed into the business by their parents, and it can be quite damaging. But that wasn't the case. My parents were supportive, but it was something that I had decided it would be a good business to be a part of.
So your folks weren't the stage parents?
No. If I had not had any interest in being in film or anything like that, they wouldn't have pushed me toward that at all.
Yeah.
But they were supportive when my mother would take me to auditions and that sort of thing.
Wow, it's kind of refreshing.
Yeah. No, because I do think often it's not that way. That children are often kind of pushed into the industry, and it really can be very damaging. But no, it was an interest that I had at a very young age.
Crispin Glover from Hot Tub Time Machine. Now, why do this movie? Why do this kind of this crazy, zany?
Well, I fund my own films. I forgot where are you guys from?
Des Moines, Iowa.
I haven't been in Iowa yet with my prints. I think I was. No, I haven't been in Iowa yet.
Is this the traveling show that you're doing, the multimedia?
Yeah. Well, I've made 2 feature films that are 35 millimeter feature movies, and I tour with a live dramatic narration of 8 different books. It's a 1-hour show that I perform before I present the feature film. Then after that, I have a question and answer period, and then I have a book signing. I've published a number of books. The dramatic narration is of some of the books, or some of the books are books that I published, and some of them aren't. They're very heavily illustrated, and that's why I have a projection behind me of these books, because the illustrations help the audience to understand what the story is about.
Really help them digest it.
Yes. Well, it's mandatory it's a part of what the story is. But I fund my films myself. So the way I fund my films is by acting in other people's films. I slowly am recouping my investments by touring with the films, and the audiences, of course, are helping me recoup for what the investment is. But this is a very slow way of recouping. This is not a big, it's not a fast road to riches by any means. But I'm very passionate about these films that I've made, and it's worked out very well that acting in in other people's films and corporate films that I can do this thing that I started studying professionally when I was 15. I studied for 5 years. So it's been since about the year 2001 that I started realizing that it was important for me to act in films specifically to be able to fund my own films. But interestingly, it helped my acting career because the films that I started acting in, the first one that I really had this conscious decision about was when I acted in the first Charlie's Angels film. And I knew with that money that I could make from that film, I could put straight into the film, which is called It Is Fine, Everything Is Fine. And I needed to do it because the main actor who had written the film was having health problems at the time, and it became apparent if I didn't shoot something soon, I may never get to shoot anything at all. But I did shoot, I did end up shooting that film, and then Charlie's Angels ended up doing very well financially, and that was very good for my acting career. And I realized that, you know, that is how things work. If you're in films that make money, you end up getting more offers for other films that potentially will make money. And really, the roles have gotten better for me, and the films the films have become more higher profile.
Yeah, and meanwhile, your passion projects can keep going, stay funded.
Exactly. Yes.
Everyone benefits.
Yeah, it's worked out very well that way.
We got the wrap up sign. I wish we could probably spend an hour talking to you, but
well, if people want to find out where I'm going to be with the films, they can go to crispinglover.com, and it will email them when I'm going to be where with what film. And I'm very happy right now to be in both two films that are coming out in the same month. Alice in Wonderland, which has already done very well, and feels like Hot Tub Time Machine has the potential of doing very well.
It's a great movie.
Well. Yeah. The people are likable. It's funny, and they have good wrap-ups at the end.
And your character has a nice little wrap-up and a good ending too.
Yeah.
I don't want to give anything away. But.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Crispin,
I'm very glad. I'm grateful to be in the films, and glad they're all coming along well.
It's a pleasure to meet you, and thanks for giving us a couple minutes.
Yeah, thank you for having me on.